On this channel, I've covered some of the greatest architectural locations found across the world of Azeroth. These areas span time, space, and civilizations, but all have one thing in common. They can be considered wonders of this digital realm. In this episode of 7 Wonders of Warcraft, I want to take a look at 7 of the natural wonders. Places that were not made or influenced by the beings of the Warcraft universe, but are nevertheless interesting landmarks. I tried to pick today's list from a wide variety of the unique environments in the game, and keep in mind there are many other great spots I could have selected as well. As always, thank you for your fun comments and support, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. The northern wilds of Feralas are a mystery to most, a forgotten stretch of land covered in overgrowth and elven ruins. However, there is a pair of landmarks that dominates the central part of this area, the Twin Colossals. These two mesas, or mountain pillars, are very similar to those found within Thousand Needles to the southeast, but as their name suggests, they are the largest of their kind. My measurements show the colossi are both around 200 WoW units, or Murgles, tall, while the average mesa in Thousand Needles is around 140 Murgles tall. The eastern pillar has a good-sized pool at the top with water cascading down the sides, which makes sense considering the coastal, rainy biome of Feralas. A night elf can be found in between the two pillars, offering to teleport players to the top so they can enjoy the view. From atop the eastern colossal, once you've had your fill of the sights, Kaelin Windflight, another elf, sells a parachute you can use to make your way back down to the ground. This is one of the only wonders to have its own little tourist activity included, and next time you're trekking into the wild for an Evo root or a Yeti hide, consider stopping and checking out these two unexpected needles. On the edge of the fallen kingdom of Lordaeron lies Lordamere Lake, the largest body of water by perimeter in the Eastern Kingdoms. This lake is nestled in between 4 zones: Tirisfal Glades, Silverpine Forest, the Hillsbrad Foothills, and the Alterac Mountains, making it an integral landmark in between several of the human territories. Fenris Isle and the Tranquil Dawning Isles form a circle near the center of the lake, but the creatures who live there are less welcoming. Murlocs, swamp monsters, and a clan of undead gnolls control the land here, but the lake itself is eerily silent, save for the paddling of an occasional boat heading out from the decrepit ferry. On the eastern misty shore, a small cabin is home to the Vicious family, sympathizers of the Scarlet Crusade who have escaped the plague in Lordaeron and now make their home on the border of Alterac. Several horde quests take players to the shores of the lake and out on it, but I feel it's often overlooked in favor of other bodies of water like the Loch in the Dwarven lands. Lordamere Lake isn't necessarily the main piece of any of the surrounding zones, but it helps bring the whole region together in a way that not many other lakes can accomplish. At the far end of the Thousand Needles is a very different type of landscape. Here, the massive mesas and sandy canyons recede to unveil a massive salt flat on the eastern part of the zone. With sheer cliff walls and cracked earth holding very little water, this bowl is nearly inhospitable. Apart from the hardy desert birds and beasts, the only beings found here are the rival goblin and gnome tinker groups who have established Mirage Raceway out on the flats. You can find wreckage of their many reckless experiments across the flats, with one unlucky racer, or at least their vehicle, ending up on the other side of a mountain range in Tanaris. This salt flat was once a large lake as evidenced by the resurfaced Elven Destroyer on the north side, as well as the skeletal remains of a large turtle. This means that the High Elves likely explored this lake over 10,000 years ago, before the Great Sundering occurred, perhaps changing the geography of the zone and causing it to dry up into what we see today. Despite the barren nature of this subzone, the Shimmering Flats offer a unique landmark for players traveling through on their way to the desert or beyond, and I personally make it a point to visit here at least once during each of my leveling journeys. Located in the heart of Kalimdor, the gentle rolling hills of Mulgore envelop the most striking feature of the entire zone, Thunder Bluff. These interconnected mesas are an oddity in an otherwise flat region, and are also the capital city of the noble Tauren. Founded by the great chieftain Cairn Bloodhoof, Thunder Bluff is now the spiritual and political heart of the Tauren. But the 4 impressive mesas, or rises, have existed for thousands of years. I won't sneak in an entire WoW Rocks episode here, but there is definitely a geologic significance to this great city that goes beyond just the size and shape of the rises. Deep within the Spirit Rise, the ethereal pools of vision are deeply connected to the elements of Mulgore, and also appear to be geothermally heated, and possibly geologically created as well, judging from the smooth cave walls and stone formations. Whatever the true story of these mesas may be, Tauren players are lucky enough to have this natural wonder as the foundation of their home city. The vibrant coastline in the south of the Eastern Kingdoms extends far below the shores of Stranglethorn Vale. Below the water, a massive underwater ecosystem can be found within the Vile Reef. Red and blue coral and jagged rocks form a network of branching canyons and trenches, and murlocs now infest the sunken troll ruins at its center. This is one of the largest single locations in the zone, and there is a lot to explore here. I especially like how the rock formations have actually created these natural bridges over a few of the ravines, and there's a sort of rudimentary road system leading away from the troll ruins. This was later referenced at the Hidden Reef on Bloodmist Isle, where a similar underwater road can be found leading off into the abyss. It's often difficult to separate the history from the geography of an area, and troll legends speak of the lost city of Ilalai, which sank beneath the waves long ago, perhaps during the Great Sundering. And then the waves fell upon the jungle, washing clean all they met. They retreated, but they surged around Ilalai and remained, drowning it forever. Could the Vile Reef, now overgrown with coral and covered in sand, have once been the location of this fabled troll city? It is possible, but after so much time, it's hard to know. For those adventurers who prefer to eke out a harsh existence in a harsh landscape, look no further than the abyssal sands of Tanaris. This region of the desert is by far the most desert-like in all of classic WoW, with rolling dunes, sun-bleached bones, and all types of unpleasant creatures. There is no shelter or water to be found here, and following the multiple sets of tracks leading off into the dunes only reveal death and hardship befell those traveling through. As I theorized in my WoW Rocks Tanaris video, much of the zone likely used to be a jungle like Stranglethorn Vale when it was a part of the Gurubashi Troll Empire, but it has since wasted away into an endless expanse of sand. While the Abyssal Sands don't have a lot going on in terms of questing, you end up passing through here quite a few times on your way to other important areas of the zone, and I couldn't leave out one of the most iconic desert locations in the entire game. The fallen magical realm of Ajara still has its share of beauty and landmarks to explore. The far eastern coasts of northern Kalimdor brush up against the Great Sea, where two peninsulas form the massive Bay of Storms that dominates the center of the zone. After the Sundering, the High Elf city of Eldorath was submerged, and now a magnificent collection of ruins dot the shoreline. But the signature pink sand, tide pools, and high cliffs are the natural features that make this one of the most unique areas in the game. I was exploring this zone on my Blood Elf a few months ago, and it's easy to find great views of the bay from pretty much anywhere. In the WoW Alpha, there was a secret dark portal hidden underwater here that hinted at a potential raid in the future, but that was eventually scrapped when Vanilla WoW launched. Players ended up returning here to fight the shark boss, Moz, for part of the Scepter of the Shifting Sands questline, but this area, along with the rest of the zone, is largely forgotten in time. A broken relic preserved for thousands of years, at least until the goblins ruined it in Cataclysm, so you should go check it out while you can. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.